Yeah, the Detroit Lions, I mean, obviously it wasn't a good game. It's coming off multiple games that aren't great. But in this video, I want to talk to you honestly about the real reason I believe the Detroit Lions lost and why, honestly, they're starting to not look as good. I think it's really simple. And so what we're going to do in this video, we're going to talk about that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this channel. We want to be your go-to source for Detroit Lions football. We also have another channel, Sports Talk Extra, if you want to check that out for more NFL teams as well, kind of the little guy just like the Lions. But this game is interesting. Dan Campbell had his version of why he thought the Lions lost. I have my version. They're honestly very similar, but in some respects, they're very different too. So let's start with a quote from himself, Dan Campbell himself. He said, "It's discipline. Across the board, that's why I bring it up. We've been a disciplined team, and we just weren't enough today, and they were." So I'm going to bring something to you that I think is even more remarkable. There was Cole Kmet, the tight end for the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to set the scene for you. It's the end of the half. The Bears are going for it on 4th and 11, 4th and 13. They're on their own 41 or something like that. I'm yelling at the TV screen. It's very obvious that all they're trying to do is get the Lions to jump off sides. Because if they get the Lions to jump off sides, all of a sudden, in the cold weather, you get Cairo Santos a field goal that's in the low 50s rather than like a 58-yarder. You get a 53-yarder, something like that. They think they might be able to get some points on the board. The only two things you can't do, you can't jump and you can't get beat. Going into this play, every single player for the Chicago Bears on that offensive line is pointing. They're pointing, they're yelling. It's because they're obviously acting. I'm sitting there yelling at the TV. It's a joke. They're acting. Don't fall for it, right? Like, my wife's looking at me. She was looking at her phone. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Right? Like, because it was so obvious. And I'm not the only one who thought so. Cole Kmet came out and said there's no way there's no way they're jumping, right? There's no way. He said they jumped. I don't know how you could jump in that situation, but they did. And not only did they jump, but Jerry Jacobs, even though he was playing press man, didn't touch DJ Moore off the line. Now, there are multiple issues in this. Yes, you can talk about being undisciplined. You can. You can talk about multiple, but there are multiple issues. So, yes, they jumped. Okay? Yes, Jerry Jacobs was playing press man, and he got beat because he never touched the receiver coming off the line. Those are the mistakes of the players. Here's the mistake of a coaching staff. There were timeouts left. Why in the world do you, one, not use it to prepare your team? Number two, why in the world do you have Jerry Jacobs playing press man on 4th and 11 or 4th and 13, whatever it was, with no help behind him on the best receiver for the Chicago Bears? That's what I would like to know. Like, if I have DJ Moore over there, I'm putting a safety over the top because you just can't get beat deep. That's the only thing you can't do. This is like college football stuff. This is absolutely not something that should have happened. All right? Use a timeout. Fine. Maybe they didn't even have a timeout. You left. I'm pretty sure they did. But maybe they didn't. That's fine. The coverage should still be in the correct place. The coverage should absolutely still be in the correct place. So there's coaching errors, there's mental errors, there's discipline errors across the board. And by the way, this happened often. There was another play. It was 3rd and 11. 3rd and 11. Jerry Jacobs, once again, lined up with DJ Moore. DJ Moore runs a 15 to 16-yard out route. Jerry Jacobs is playing such loose coverage that he has about 5 yards of separation so that Justin Fields can throw the ball way too high, as he did all day, by the way. He can throw the ball way too high. DJ Moore can go up, get it, toe tap, and Jerry Jacobs is nowhere to be seen because he was playing 20 yards off as a cornerback on 3rd and 11. What are we doing? Like, what is going on? There are some things that just don't make sense. When it's 4th and 13, you're playing press man. When it's 3rd in the same distance, you're playing 20 yards off on a corner. It makes no sense. And why are you not rotating people to the side where DJ Moore is? I don't get it. So there are frustrations when we go with that. But Dan Campbell also continued to say, ultimately, we played their game. We never really got to play our game. End of the second quarter, we did a little bit. And so when you keep them, all right, they're allowed to do what they want to do as a team. That serves them well. That's how they need to be able to play, and they're very good at it. Okay. How we play as a team. Unfortunately, the NFL is starting to figure it out. On offense, I'll give you both the offense and the defense, and I'll give you why the struggle happened. On the offensive side of the ball, how we play is we like to run the ball, right? But we don't have Frank Ragnow, which means, all right, but we don't have Frank Ragnow, so that hurts us in running the ball. We ran the ball really effectively in the first half, but in the second half, they knew that's all we could do. And then we throw the ball over the middle of the field. That's what we do as a team. So the Chicago Bears are taking all their players and they're crunching them in between the numbers. So there were often times, like you saw a couple of Amon-Ra St. Brown drops, right? In other words, he got hit right as he caught it. Or Goff is having to throw it back shoulder. He's having to throw it low. He's having to throw it away, and there's Bears hands everywhere. That's because they simply flooded the middle of the field. That's all they had to do. And our offense didn't adjust to throw outside the numbers. We talked about this in the live postgame afterward yesterday, but the question remains, did they not throw outside because they were too stubborn, too dumb, or did they not throw outside because Goff can't? They never threw the ball deep. Everything was 20 yards and closer. Everything was over the middle of the field in the passing game. That's our offense. What about our defense? All right, what about our defense? Our defense does not have an elite pass rush. Not even close, right? I would argue that our pass rush is bottom 5 in the league right now. And we don't have a secondary. We may have if everybody was healthy. But we don't have a secondary right now that can hold up when the defensive line isn't getting home. It's just not something we can do. So what we've been doing a lot of over the past month and a half is we've just been rushing 4 and playing a shell zone coverage, a soft zone, and the hope is to tighten up in the red zone, right? In this game and last week, we started blitzing a little bit more in hopes, honestly, the last few weeks, that would work. It did. In the first half of this game, the blitzing did work, but then we went away from it. And I don't know if it's because we don't have enough blitz packages set up. I don't know if it's because we don't know how to hide it well enough, or if it's because they don't have confidence in the team to do it. So, for example, you're like, blitz more, blitz more, blitz more. I was the guy talking about blitzing more. But you saw what happened on 4th and 13 to Jerry Jacobs. So when you blitz, you're leaving guys like Jerry Jacobs alone on an island. And unless you get home like that, it's a tutty for the other team. They showed it. So the Lions are kind of showing their colors here. The question is, do we have the skill to change up the scheme on offense? We're kind of seeing what the defense is. Nothing's changed really in the last 4 or 5 weeks. The problem now is that the offense isn't making up for it when they should be. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that, hey, maybe you learned something. I know I did when I was just talking. I said stuff I didn't expect to say. So hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. See ya.